Hi everyone, it's Nick again, creating a quick video to act as a refresher when we're looking at these reports. So first off, looking at the class report, I could see that there are 26 students in Miss Dunn's class. The average score is a 182.7, which is consistent with the median. So the mean is your average. The median means that this is the middle score. 50% of Miss Dunn's students are scoring below 183, while 50% of her class is above 183. So sometimes this is consistent with the average. Sometimes the median might be a better score to look at because it takes into account any outliers that you might have. You might have a good chunk of the students all near 160, and you might have one or two students that are way higher or way lower, and that might skew the mean depending on how many students you have. Standard deviation, we were talking about, that's how spread out the data is. That's pretty close to 12. 12 is one of those numbers that to me is an indicator that we probably need to differentiate our instruction because the students are academically spread out. There is no information for district grade level. Our district is the Archdiocese. We're still collecting information. So those numbers will eventually be filled in once we're able to calculate the mean RIT for the Archdiocese. But we can take a look at the norm grade level, and we could see in the country of the second graders who took MAP, their average score was a 176.9. So the students in Miss Dunn's class, we have about 18 students that are at or above norm grade level. And we could see that breakdown, how many students are falling in the percentiles. So below the 21st percentile, we have 3 students, and that correlates with this color-coded system that MAP presents. If you're taking an even deeper dive, we can take this overall math score and break it into the goal areas: operations and algebraic thinking, numbers and operations, and so on. Just from a visual point of view, I could see that a good chunk of the students in second grade have a strong understanding of operations and algebraic thinking based on the high and high average bands. However, we do want to focus on measurement and data, judging by these dark red, orange areas that are higher than the rest of the sub-goal areas. As we continue, students are listed by their RIT score, and that correlates with the percentile. So when we were looking at students that were in the 20th percentile, 80th percentile, 100th percentile, this actually drills down as to what percentile they are actually falling under. We could take a look at the test duration, how long did they take, and then we could also look at the breakdown, goal performance, the 4 different sub-goals, and if that is a relative strength or a relative weakness for those students. I just wanted to bring up one other thing. If we look at the reading report, the reading class report, it should look very similar, except you should have one additional column here, the Lexile range. So the Lexile range is an indicator as to the reading level of the student, and that correlates to what level text the student can access and how complex that text. This is great to share with parents, letting them know what level text should they be getting books for their students. BR stands for beginning to read. Beginning to read. And this is also helpful information that could help out literacy circles or reading groups. And finally, looking at the class breakdown by goal report, Decided to go with the reading report, and so we have the breakdown of foundational skills, language and writing, literature and informational, vocabulary use, and function. So these are the 4 goals that add up to the reading overall goal. And every student will appear in every row. So if we have, let's take a look. We have Henry is over in this middle row in the 171 to 180 range. And then he also appears in the language and writing range. So the number that's in parentheses, that's their overall reading RIT score. If you take all 4 of these scores, average them, that's their average score. But this allows us not only for grouping, but this allows us to identify some strengths and weaknesses relative to the student. So just looking at this, I could see that Henry has a relative strength in his foundational skills. So that would change possibly the grouping that he would be. He might be with these students if they were working on a skill that Miss Dunn had classified as a foundational skill. And we could take a deeper dive into that. Whereas possibly in literature and informational, we could see that Henry's in the 151 to 160 range. So this is a relative weakness or a relative area of growth for Henry. So we may need additional support, and we may need to flag this when we're having a parent conference. Alrighty. Well, please continue to send any questions you have my way, and I hope that this was helpful.